enable the recording. We are going to be recording today's session because we understand not a lot of people are able to make it, yet it's important that they have access to this information. So we will be posting this video to our Centro YouTube channel. So if any of you know of somebody else who might have been interested in attending today but couldn't, you can redirect them to the Centro YouTube channel, which Elisa will post in our chat, so that you can refer other students so they can watch the recording at a later time. But thank you everyone for joining us this evening. My name's Lily Pinedo Giancay, and I'm the program director of Centro, the Chicanx Latinx Student Success Center at San Jose State. And I'm thrilled to welcome our Latino Alumni Network board members who are going to be sharing more in depth about the Latino Alumni Network at San Jose State, also known as LAN. So this is going to be an information session. Many of you are ready to embark, I'm sure, after a long journey at San Jose State, whatever your journey is next, which actually I'm going to engage you here in a couple of minutes in a poll to see what your plans are. But we hope that you find this information session beneficial to you. I know that for me, when I graduated from undergrad, I wish I would have known that we had a Latino Alumni Network, because there are so many benefits that come with being a member and being part of that community, especially as you transition out of undergrad, or maybe some of you might be graduate students. So I'm going to share here what we have planned for you this evening. So I'm going to, again, have a quick poll activity for you all. We're going to introduce you to the board members that are here with us this evening, talk a little bit about the history of LAN. So how did LAN get started and why? Share more about LAN's mission and their vision. So what do they do? And for you all, talk a little bit more about their membership, like how do you become involved? Lastly, we will have our board members, we're going to ask them a couple of questions. And so we hope you can stay for that, because that's going to be the most exciting piece. And then we'll wrap it up with question and answer. But please know that you can ask questions along the way in the chat. And if there is someone specifically that you want to direct your question to, just go ahead and put that in the chat as well. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ask you to engage me here in a quick poll, because we want to know who's in the house and who's joining us this evening. So we're going to go ahead, and if you can let me know or let us know, when are you graduating from San Jose State? We know a lot of you might be graduating at the end of this fall semester, so congratulations. I'm sure you're counting down the minutes for that day to happen. What college are you affiliated with? And then also, what are your plans post San Jose State? So some of you might already have a job lined up, whether it's with your degree or not related to your degree. Maybe some of you are still thinking about, well, I don't know exactly what I want to do, but I need to find a job, and that's perfectly fine. Maybe some of you are already attending graduate school or thinking about grad school. Maybe you landed an internship, or you're just taking time off. You've heard that, maybe some of you have heard the term gap years. That was me. I took almost 10 years off before deciding to go back to grad school, and that's perfectly okay. Everybody has their own journeys. So, but this will give us and the panelists some more information how to best tailor today's plática with you all, just so we have a better idea of who's here and who's joining us. So we'll give it a couple more seconds. I see we have 7 out of 11. So please continue to engage us in answering these questions, and then I'll post the results here. Okay, so I will go ahead and close the poll, and let's go ahead and share these results. So it looks like we have 38% of you are graduating this fall semester. Majority of you here are graduating in the spring. So you have 1 more semester to go. We have most representation from College of Social Science, which, that's amazing, because we do know that most of our Latinx students are affiliated with College of Social Science. Actually, psychology is the most popular major amongst Latinx students on our campus. But we do have representation. 25% of you are from College of Health and Human Sciences, 13% equally between College of Ed and College of Engineering. We don't have anybody here tonight, at least not now. Maybe someone will come in a little bit later from humanities, business, or science. And let's see, post SJSU plans. Let's see, the majority of you do have already a job lined up that's related to your degree. Yay, felicidades, that's awesome. Less stress for you to worry about. A ver, I will be attending graduate school. Ooh, I'm excited to learn what schools folks are going to be attending. So 25% of you will be attending grad school. 13% have already a paid internship lined up. And then we have 30% job searching. Yep, that's perfectly fine, especially right now, I think during a pandemic. You know, a lot of people are doing that job search. And 13% are also taking time off to figure things out. And then there's 13%, I put other. So if you want to let us know in the chat what your other plans are, please let us know. So thank you for engaging us in that quick survey. Okay, so now it's my pleasure to turn it over to our Latino Alumni Network board members. And this is not all of them. We have a smaller, intimate group today that's joining us. So I want to thank each and every one of them for joining us this evening. We know that you all had a probably really busy workday también, and here you are joining us. So thank you so much for being here. So I'm going to turn it over and have Ernesto introduce yourself, please.
Yes, good afternoon to all. My name is Ernesto Martinez. I actually got my degrees in 97 history, also in 02 my Chicano studies, which actually I'm applying right now. So I teach at Alumni College and also at our Chicana Studies department, which I love. It's a great program and just thankful for where I'm at. Something about me, I do Aztec dancing for Capulito Naleque, which is based in the School of Arts at the Mexican Heritage Plaza in San Jose. So if you guys want to know more about Aztec dances or cultura, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Ernesto. Glad you could join us. And now Gloria.
Hi, everybody. My name is Gloria. I'm currently a catering manager working from home with Bon Appetit Management at Adobe in downtown San Jose. I actually started at San Jose State as a photo major. Not a lot of people know that. And I ended up with a business management and Spanish degree. I didn't know that Ernesto did Aztec dancing because I did that in high school. I was the club president, actually. It was a really fun experience. And to touch on what you said about grad school, I actually just submitted my application today. After waiting 7 years after graduating from San Jose State. So, you know, it still can be done.
Yes, I think that's the number one thing I see. Andrina and Jacqueline, thank you so much for posting that comment. I definitely felt the pressure of going to grad school directly after undergrad. And, you know, especially when you see your friends around you going to grad school, like, yeah, the pressure is real. But please know that you all have your own journeys. There's a rhyme and reason, right, for everybody. So I know that's the hardest thing to do is not to compare yourself, but take your time. Take your time. I did some soul searching. So yes, Gloria, felicidades. I'm so excited. For what program are you going to be starting?
It is a Master's of Applied Psychology at USC.
Woo! Congratulations. Very exciting. Very proud of you. Gracias, Gloria. And now I'm going to turn it over to Carlos.
Congrats, Gloria. So my name is Carlos Trujillo, and I graduated way back in 2003, a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science and a minor in Business. And initially I wanted to go to law school, but believe it or not, I did not get in. I was waitlisted at 2 schools. So my life kind of got redirected, and I took 1 year off and then went back to graduate school and earned a master's in counseling from University of Laverne. So I've been doing both counseling and real estate for 14 years now. And a fun fact about me, I hail from small town of Greenfield, which is south of Salinas.
Thank you, Carlos. Central Valley representing. Anybody? I'm just curious to know if anybody else is from the Central Valley. Let us know. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it over to Daniel.
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Daniel Guzman. Happy to be here. I'm currently the program manager for Latino Student Achievement within Oakland Unified School District. I will have been in the position 2 years on January 2nd. So I graduated from San Jose State 2012. I studied sociology, concentration, and criminology with a minor in Mexican American Studies. After that, I moved to Chicago for 2 years and I did my master's out there. And that was about 2014. So between that time, I was substitute teaching and I was working with Youth on Probation in East Oakland. And I just felt like I just had to get out of my comfort zone. I had to leave my big Mexican family behind and focus on myself. And do some healing and some soul searching and explore like a whole different city. And so that was one of the best decisions of my life. I wasn't in the best grad program per se, but just connecting with other people that had passion to continue their education was one of my favorite things. And I'm still close to them today. Outside of work, I like to be out in nature. My quarantine hobby is fishing. I do jujitsu. I like to run. And I like eating like Italian sandwiches. So I'm always trying to find the best one in the Bay. So if y'all know of any, let me know. But happy to be here, answer any questions that y'all have. And yeah, with grad school, todo con su tiempo. Like, hay que tomarlo tranquilo. Like, make sure you have money saved up, or, you know, money in some stocks. Like, be creative with how you're going to finance your education instead of paying off those student loans that I'm paying off super aggressively right now.
Gracias, Daniel. So as you can hear just from these short introductions, everyone has a very unique journey to where they are today. And we're going to have an opportunity to hear a little bit more about their stories here in a few minutes. But I'm actually going to now turn it over to Carlos, who's going to share just very briefly, you know, more about LAN. Why did LAN get started at San Jose State? So Carlos, if you can share that with us, that would be great.
Yeah, I was actually texting the founders prior to this meeting, and Leo, one of the founders, actually might jump on. In a nutshell, this organization was created by two founders, Karina and Leo. It was initially starting to get created back in 2009. And where it came from is Karina got a mailer in the mail asking her to join the Alumni Association, and she did a little bit of research and said, hey, wait a minute, I'm interested in joining a cultural background. Latino association, why doesn't one exist? And so her and Leo connected to create basically a foster of communication of Latinos to empower the Bay Area, to create opportunities. And they had a vision. Their primary purpose was scholarship, is giving back. So it started really small with just them two, and then it kind of branched out. And it was officially established in 2013 as a offset of the SJSU Alumni Association. And so again, it was just created because one did not exist, and Leo and Karina got together and made it happen. And now it's just kind of grown from its initial stages, from what the purpose was. And now we have board members with different duties, and it's branched out to networking, to career development, social events, and the big thing which we all come together for is our big event, which is our scholarship. So in a nutshell, that's how the Latino Alumni Network got established at SJSU.
Gracias, Carlos. And I'm going to transition here to talk a little bit more. I'm going to ask one of the other panelists to share with us a little bit more about the mission and the vision of LAN. So whoever would like to share a little bit more detail.
Leo, I think you just joined. Do you want to speak on that?
Sure. How's everybody doing today? I couldn't see myself on the screen, so I was like, where am I at? Definitely, I can definitely talk about that. So our mission has evolved from back in 2009, and our mission currently is that every Latino achieves their full potential and inspires comunidad. This is a new mission that we came up with this last year when we came together for our retreat. And one of the things that we want to do is we want to make sure that we are empowering the SJSU Latino alumni and the students, and making sure that we're promoting personal and professional growth. And those are the type of events that we put on together for everyone. You know, there's a concept called servant leadership, and that is, you know, when someone does something for the sake of their community, it's more about serving the community rather than getting recognition. And that's one of the things that we like to really hinge our mission and our vision on. And one of the things that we also want to focus on is a multi-generational mentorship. That is something that is you know, going to help us prepare the current students and future students at SJSU to really thrive and make sure that those of us that have already graduated from the university are taking the time to reach back and actually support the community there at San Jose State.
Thank you so much, Leo. And Leo is one of our current co-chairs, co-presidents of LAN. And I thank you, Leo, so much for helping us organize this event today. A lot of our students who are currently on the call have already privately messaged me saying that they're so glad that we've been able to put this event together for them today. So thank you so much for helping us with that. So now I'm going to have you all tell us a little bit more about, so what are the benefits of being a member of LAN, and what does that look like? How do you first, like, what are the first steps students have to take to become involved with LAN? Could they do that now? Do they have to wait until they're officially graduated? Do you need to see their degree? Like, what are the ins and outs of all the nitty gritty details for how you become involved with LAN?
I can jump on in that one. I think that for me, as one of the newest board members, right, along with Ernesto and Daniel, something that really called to me was that scholarship, and that LAN is, really focused on getting the current student, right, to develop, and we do what we can to raise those funds to help them get there, right? And we also have these networking events, which is kind of where I got involved last year. We hosted, or LAN had their legacy dinner at Adobe headquarters, which I managed the catering department. So it all kind of came full circle for me. Oh, have some background noise. But because we had to switch to, adapting with the pandemic, we have now switched over to virtual events. And I'll talk about this a little bit later, but we do have our holiday posada coming up, which is a perfect opportunity for graduating seniors to kind of start to get to know us. We don't need to see your certificate, your graduation certificate. We welcome students and alumni to join us, to get involved. The bigger the comunidad, the bigger the outreach effort that we can make. And workshops. One of the first things that I did was attend a LAN workshop when we could still have them in person. And I remember Carlos and Karina being there. It's very memorable. And I remember since then, I was like, I need to get involved. I need to find a way. And it took me a couple of years before I actually did it, right? Because you're like, oh, but then I have to put myself out there. You got to do it, as a student, especially now, just start now. Networking is going to be the biggest thing for you, especially in a virtual setting. And building that community. Right now, I feel that all of my LAN board members are my friends. We text each other, we follow up with each other, even when it has nothing to do with LAN. We're building that community now, and I feel like it's been a blessing for me. And it's funny that I know that it started in 2013, which is when I graduated, but I didn't join officially until this year. So the more I can get to do, the more I can do to get the word out, the better.
And if I can just add a little bit to that, if anyone is interested, we're on all social media platforms, from Instagram to Facebook to LinkedIn. All you have to do is like us, and we have a marketing team that posts all of our events on there. And so that's how you find out about our events, and it's pretty easy. You just RSVP for the events and you show up. There's no charge, although we do, encourage students to donate monetary funds. Not students, excuse me, alumni. It's one of our outreach efforts. But again, there's no fee for it. You just can follow us on any social media platforms where we post all of our events coming up.
Thank you, Carlos. Well, Gloria, you started, you actually got into some of the questions I was going to ask you all for the panel. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump to some of those right now. And let me give me a second here while I go back to that other screen. Okay. Post here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to begin, and actually I'm going to just popcorn some of our board members here. So I'll start with Daniel. If you can share with us when and why you decided to join LAN, how much time went by after having graduated San Jose State?
Yeah, so I believe I joined in, I think it was March or February of this year. And So I graduated December 2012, so about 8 years. Had I known something like this existed, I definitely probably would have joined sooner. And I think it definitely would have helped me in my career trajectory. I read a quote recently that says, "A genuine connection is worth more than a fistful of business cards." And so networking is just super important. I really appreciate all like the people on the team. I've met with Gloria several times and talked about like grad school, and we've given each other just kind of tips. I've called Carlos to ask about, hey, how do I buy a home? I'm trying to buy a home next year. So I just love that I can lean on people that have different experiences than me, and have different knowledge, and that's the whole purpose of this group for me. And I'm really glad to be a part of this team.
Thank you, Daniel. And I'm actually going to turn it over to Carlos to answer the same question, please.
Sure. So I'm a little older than the rookie members here. I didn't know LAN existed actually until I saw a post on Facebook, and I attended the holiday gathering at Google about 4 years ago. And I recognized Leo from college and just started having a conversation about LAN and what it means. And shortly after attending that event, there was a call out for board members. And I thought about it and I said, yeah, this is great. It was just awesome to be part of that event, over 100 educated Latinos. And it's just good to meet people whom you normally wouldn't interact with. So I couldn't join after graduating because it wasn't created, but I did join shortly after attending an event and seeing how I could benefit. But not only that, I wanted to give back, and this was my way of giving back.
Thank you so much, Carlos. And Daniel, I'm going to go back to you. If you can actually post in the chat that quote that you just shared about the business cards, that really stood out and resonated with me, because I remember, I don't know about nowadays if people are still using business cards, but I remember I walked away at one point. I had like a stack, right, like this thick, and I'm like, do I ever go back to those? Like, do I even remember who these people were? So yeah, the person to person, I know now in a virtual environment, it's something different, but that carries so much more weight than just picking up a business card and then walking away. So yeah, Daniel, if you could post that quote, that would be great. Thank you. Okay, the next question here is, how has being a member of LAN supported your professional and your career development? So I'm gonna actually ask this of Ernesto.
You know what? So I'm like Daniel and Gloria. I'm still kind of the new guy, even though I've been around quite a while. I did actually join the Alumni Association, but not the Latino alumni. I did graduate in 2002, so I'm a little bit older. And usually at those events, I was the only one there, being Latinx or Latino. And we get it. We live in the Bay Area, really diverse, but a lot of the alumni was not that. So being here, it's a little bit different. Now it's it's la gente, la cultura. I go from English to Spanish, do the code switching. So a lot of it is that. It's more of the personal, anything else. Right now I am teaching. That's hopefully my career, which I love to do. But a lot of it is what Gloria and Daniel mentioned, and Carlos, is that connection. And Daniel mentioned really clearly about having that meaningful relationship. And I think the alumni did not really do that. The regular SJSU alumni, but with the LAN, there's more of a connection. Everyone is committed. Leo, Gloria, Daniel, Carlos, and everyone else within the department, they really do care about really helping out. And for me, it's meant more of a personal development than anything else. You're on mute.
You're muted.
Still haven't figured that one out yet. Okay, Leo, if you could also follow up on this question, being as someone who's been as part of LAN for so long, how has being a member with LAN supported your own professional and career development over the years?
Yeah, there's one of the things that that really resonates with me. That is the fact that ever since I was a student at San Jose State, I've always valued giving back to the community, and by giving back to that community, I actually learned a lot more than the people that I was giving back to. So I was also a teacher for many years, and I learned more from my students than they actually learned from me. So I'm a little selfish in the fact that I like to engage with people because I know I'm going to learn a lot from them. In terms of the kind of support that I've received from LAN, one of the things that that happens when you're in corporate America is you don't always get the opportunities to lead in an organization unless you are a manager. And so I saw an opportunity within LAN to actually create an organization that could help Latinos lead the organization and give them those leadership skills, so that they can actually leverage that for their corporate career. And that's how I've been able to leverage LAN. Is I've been able to leverage the work that we've been doing within LAN over the last 11 years, to really help me develop as a leader and continue to give back to my community, but also help me in my profession and advancing within my career. And I've learned a lot from the board members in LAN over the last 11 years, and I hope to learn a lot more over the next several years as well. And I want people to really understand that, like, when you become part of the board of LAN, you're learning really great and valuable leadership skills, that you're practicing those, and you also can actually translate those into your what we call your day job, and hopefully be able to get that promotion a lot faster, because you are getting exposure. You're getting an opportunity to practice those skills within LAN to then be able to apply them into your career.
Thank you so much, Leo. Yeah, I can't express how important those transferable skills are. And, being able to be a part of a community like LAN. I think that for me, I wish I would have been able to have this opportunity when I was an undergrad, because some of those key leadership skills that you're speaking to, Leo, I feel like I didn't get those when I was in school. I got them as a result of actually starting my work and being in this field of higher education and paying it forward. So again, I can't stress enough what you just shared about how you can take these skills that you learn and these strengths that you learn as being a part of this tight-knit community to whatever, whether it's your career or grad school, or even if it's a promotion in your current job. So thank you so much. Now, many of you already talked about the importance of networking, and networking looks very different nowadays since the pandemic. You all had various workshops that you put together. Lisa and I attended a few of them. We heard from our Latino Student Business Association, because I know that you all work very closely with them, and there were a lot of great events you put together and workshops as a part of that community as well. But how do you network now in COVID times? And if you can, maybe Carlos, you can elaborate a little bit more about, should students be able to join LAN shortly, for those, especially those that are graduating this fall or even this spring? How do you begin to network, and how do you start getting involved?
Yeah, that's a great question. And networking is very critical in terms of meeting people within kind of the job field that you want to pursue. And so right now with networking, there's a lot of different options, but obviously we can't meet really in person due to social distancing. So I know that I've attended a counselor conference, and I was able to network because everyone's doing creative things on Zoom. So finding out about those events via LinkedIn, via social media, and attending them, there's no cost to them, and they're actually really fun. And you get to meet some awesome people whom you otherwise wouldn't. And especially if you're more kind of introverted, you just turn on your camera, they put you in breakout rooms, and it's pretty cool. So right now, you just make the best of networking via these social media platforms and putting your name out there, especially for you students that are graduating right now and maybe you don't have something lined up. If any of you are interested in one of the job fields that one of us is in, just reach out to us. And that's what it's about, is people will be willing to help you if you just have that conversation.
Thank you, Carlos. And I'm actually going to ask Gloria if there's anything else you'd like to add to what Carlos just shared.
Yeah, for example, I have been doing a lot of webinars for the grad program that I'm applying to, right? Because I wanted my face to be out there, and professors are moderating these things. And I'm like, I need to get as much exposure to all of them so that when they see my application pop up in the system, they're going to be able to put a name to the face and, asking the questions and being engaging, as Carlos said, right? And going for it and asking people, hey, can I add you to my LinkedIn? Or if you find them on LinkedIn and said, hey, thank you for example, something that I did, I looked up one of the professors and said, thank you for dedicating time to the workshop today. I really appreciate all the insight you gave, and I look forward to hopefully, being your student next semester. And she totally responded, and it was like, okay, cool. You know, there was another student from the program who's there now. I did the same thing. I'm like, hey, I'd love to, you know, pick your brain about what the program is like. And I got a response. So it's really just it doesn't hurt to ask. It doesn't hurt to try, right? Just, it's a little bit scary, but tienes que perder el miedo, and you just have to go for it, you know, and it's going to be something that's going to be a benefit to you. So why not try?
And Leo here posted in the chat, you know, definitely recommending for you all students to connect with our board members via LinkedIn. If you are board members, if you can actually drop your LinkedIn links on in the chat, that would be great as a starting point. LinkedIn is definitely a wonderful resource for networking beyond just the Bay Area, right? I know many of you are probably not even in the Bay Area. You're going to be going back to Southern California or even out of state. But what's so cool about LinkedIn is it allows you to bring people into your network based on region that you're at, based on the work field. So there's a lot of good opportunities there. If you even need help putting your LinkedIn profile together, I believe that's one of the workshops, if I'm not mistaken, that LAN helped put together in partnership maybe with the Career Center or LBSA a couple years ago. And I have one last question before I open it up to Q&A from the students, and this goes to whoever would like to answer this. But what does then, let's say I'm a student who's graduating at the end of this fall, what would be my first step to connecting with you? What's my commitment looking like? You know, especially the students that are, oh, I'm still going to be job searching, or maybe have some family responsibilities. I don't know if I can commit X amount of hours to something like this. So if you can tell us a little bit more, what does commitment look like should you decide to be a part of LAN, and what does my involvement look like?
I would say that you know, for students who want to join LAN, you can participate in as much or as few activities as you can. We do have events that are, you know, right now that are virtual. Hopefully, in the near future, we will be able to have live events again. But you know, what I would do is I would recommend that you join us on our social media platforms so you can keep up with the different events that we'll be having in the next couple of months. So you can participate in those, you know, if you do have the time. There is no minimum amount of events that you are required to attend as a participant of LAN. So feel free to join as many or as few, and join the ones that you're definitely interested in. For example, if we have a workshop that talks about, you know, a particular field, maybe in the medical field, etc., and that's your field, definitely join those. And there's always opportunities for you to network. I would say that as you're getting ready to graduate, whether it's this fall or in the spring, that you start to build your network, because your network is what's going to get you your next job. You know, leveraging your network makes it a lot easier. You know, corporate America, or you know, the majority out there, they leverage their network quite a bit, and that's something that we as Latinos don't do too much of. Partly because we're prideful in the fact that we want to do it by ourselves. We want to you know, lift ourselves by the bootstraps. You know, we kind of bought into that idea, that mythology. But I think at the end of the day, it's about, you know, what's really core to our culture, which is helping each other as the community. And I think one of the things that you guys can do is start building your network now, so that when you are ready to apply for those opportunities, you can look in one of our profiles on LinkedIn and see if we know someone that works at that company, so we can make that introduction. And that's how it's done. So the sooner you let us know what companies you want to join, and if we know someone there, we'll be more than happy to make that connection, so that you can actually get an inside look into what that company is like, or that organization, whether it's a school, you know, city government, state government, federal government, etc. And we're here to help, and anything we can do to help you guys, you know, we're here for that. But one of the things that I definitely would like to encourage you is to kind of leave the shyness, you know, away. And you know, one of the things that my dad used to tell me all the time is that la vergüenza se deja en la casa, because once you go out there, you definitely want to make sure that you are, you know, being as brave as you possibly can to actually get that job that you want, or get that attention that you need to get the you know, the opportunity that you're looking for.
Thank you, Leo, and Gloria as well. And I completely agree. And, something as a strategy, because I know that some of us can be a little more timid or shy to make that first introduction. Bring a friend with you, bring someone along, someone that you think can support you, who might benefit also from these opportunities. And I think sometimes bringing other folks on makes it a little less scary or a little less intimidating than if you were to go on your own. So thank you so much for sharing. I want to open it up to our students here to see if you all have any questions of our panelists, something that you might want the panelists to expand on. So feel free to unmute yourselves, introduce yourselves, and let us know if you have any other questions.
Don't be shy.
Hi, can I go?
So I have a question.
Go ahead. I think Jacqueline. Go ahead, Jacqueline.
Hi, Jackie.
Jackie.
Hi, well, thank you everyone for your time. So, like, I wouldn't say that I'm shy, but I feel like when I'm meeting new people, like, I struggle finding like what to share or like have something ready to kind of connect with them. So if there's any suggestions or like your go-to questions or like what you share, that would be very much appreciated.
Can I answer that quickly? Lily, can I answer that? An example would be, Jackie, this is why I wear my SJSU gear. So the other day I was at Starbucks, or at Total Wine, or at Trader Joe's with my SJSU jersey. Sometimes, Jackie, they approach me. They're like, hey, I'm taking a class. My mom graduated. So to me, networking, yes, what Leo mentioned and what Carlos mentioned, yes, we're doing everything online. But, if you wear your SJSU gear or alumni, people will come to you and ask you, hey, what's going on? And sometimes, Jack, you don't have to say anything. And you're like, oh, yeah, from there, it just kind of goes on and on and on. And hopefully you start making those connections and say, hey, by the way, let's hook up on LinkedIn. Let's work it out. So part of it is just being out there. I was just at one of my friends' little store. She sells like Mexican artifacts. And someone approached me, hey, I graduated from 1972, way back in the day. So a lot of it is, that's just one suggestion, Jackie, is just, start wearing your blue, your SJSU gear, and people will actually come up to you, actually. So.
Thank you, Ernesto. Anyone else have, I think, Gloria?
Yeah, I have actually gone to networking events by myself. I have forced myself to go alone because it forces you to mingle. And the biggest thing that's helped me is asking the person next to me, how did you hear about this? Or, what field are you in? Like, kind of just asking general questions first, and then people usually warm up to you. I remember for one specific event, I sat next to the moderator of the event. I didn't even realize she was like on the program, and I hadn't even looked at it. And then at the end, like kind of toward the end of the event, she goes up to the stage and like, starts this fireside chat. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize it, right? And I made a cool connection, right? So sometimes it's just pushing the boundaries a little bit, and como dijo Leo, perder la vergüenza, and just go for it. Danny, I think you were gonna say something.
Yeah, so for me, it's all about context and intention. Where am I? What is the purpose of me being there? But I usually like to start with something fun. I usually like to tell people what's the best part about being me. And every day that tends to shift, or I'll say something that I want to cross off my bucket list that I haven't accomplished yet. So for me, that is a way of starting out different than, oh, what do you do for work? Right? Because that's like the standard question. And I don't just want to talk about work when I'm networking. I want to talk about other things too. So be creative with how you present yourself, because sometimes you only get 30 seconds to 60 seconds. So you got to kind of have your elevator pitch ready.
Those are all great responses, Jackie. I hope that helped answer your question.
Yeah, I really did. Thank you, everyone. And Daniel, I found some cool Italian places that I'm going to drop in the chat.
Dope. Thank you.
I don't know if it was Mike. Did you have a question right before Jackie?
Hi there, I did. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. So I just have a quick question about when you all have a Zoom meeting or you have a in-person meeting, is there usually a main topic or a discussion that goes on during the meetings? Or is it just a variation of whatever's on the agenda that evening?
For land specifically, we usually do our monthly meetings and we have an agenda where we, kind of set up some goals and or see what's happening next or what we're gonna do next, And so it really shifts depending on if we're talking scholarship, if we're talking virtual events. Sometimes we'll spend the whole meeting in just one topic, and sometimes we'll go through everything, right? Because we have different committees for the different campaigns that we do. So it really just depends, right? What the task at hand is. Really early on when we only met once, this whole new board only met once at the beginning at Centro, at the beginning of the year before everything got shut down. And then we had to quickly shift to virtual. And the first conversations that were like, how's everybody feeling? And like, this is crazy. And then eventually we're like, okay, we really got to like get to, start engaging our comunidad. And Danny and I had the opportunity to do a Cinco de Mayo event, kind of host it, right? Lead it with the rest of the board. And that was really fun. So it really just depends.
Great, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And then just really quick, I'm already getting a wealth. I'm an older returning student and I'll be finishing up pretty soon. And I am going to jump right back into a master's program. And I'm just finishing up my statement of purpose. Actually, I just finished it last night. So hearing some of your backgrounds, I've noticed that they kind of touch on things that I'm looking at. On the top of my list, I'm looking to go into a counseling education program. I have not factored out a MSW, and I certainly haven't factored out working with kids in the juvenile justice system. And from what I've heard from all of you, you guys just have quite a solid background in some of those. So I will be reaching out to quite a few of you, if that's okay.
Congratulations, Mike. I think, that's why we're here, right? And like, I can't remember if it was Leo who mentioned it's para servir, right? To serve one another as a community. So I'm really excited for you and your next steps. And I think everyone here will be open to engaging you. And I'll sign up for that too, Mike. I finished my master's in educational counseling at San Jose State. So feel free to reach out and add me to that list too. All right.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions from folks?
We have a question that came in from Kalina, and her question is, what are the expectations of newcomers into LAN?
Would you be able to clarify, Colleen, a little bit more in terms of like if it's a new member or a new board member?
New member.
So a new member, in terms of the expectations, is, the only expectation we have is that you would participate in our events, but it would be up to you to decide which events and how many events you would want to participate in. Once you take on, when you're an active participant, that's really all you're doing. You're participating, you're getting to know LAN, you're trying to see if this is for you and trying to see what we offer. And then what we usually see is we see people kind of graduate into being part of a committee or helping with one of our events. And then over time, people tend to join the board. We haven't been around for a long time. So what we would want is for, as the organization grows and time goes by, we will be able to add more programs to our offerings. So we definitely can use you and everybody who is on the call to be an active participant in our events, to actually get the benefits of the programming that we put on. And that's really all we would want for you to do, is take advantage of the things we're offering. And then later, once you see if this is something that you want to give back to, if your time allows, you can definitely join some of the other parts of the organization.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I had a second follow-up question of because of COVID times, how exactly would you coordinate these events? My goodness, I didn't freeze. Okay, how would you coordinate these events virtually? And because I don't live in San Jose anymore, so are these local How would that work, and what could you participate in virtually?
So pretty much right now, since everything is virtual, as long as you're able to see the link on social media and you're able to click on it in RSVP, you'll be able to attend the events. That's the beauty of, I think this is one of the things that we've learned through COVID. One of the positive things that has come out of this is that we can now expand our network beyond the people who are here in the Bay Area. So anyone from anywhere in the world can now attend our events as long as they're able to access the links via our social media. And hopefully as COVID lifts and we're able to get back to live events, we don't lose that that piece where we can also have virtual events where people who are not here locally can actually participate. And the way that we put those on is we actually work with other organizations. We partner with other organizations to put on events, like the one that's coming up shortly, the Posada. And we collaborated with other organizations to make sure that we are, if we're putting on an event, we ask them if they want to join us so we can have critical mass. It's also an opportunity for us to leverage each other's network so that the network can expand. The meetings that we have to put together these events, they're done virtually via Zoom. So if you wanted to, let's say, help put together an event in the spring, you can definitely join one of the committees, and all of the meetings are now being done virtual to put these events together. And you can definitely participate in those. I would strongly recommend that you follow us on our social media so you can see when those events are coming up. And also when we're looking for volunteers, sometimes we'll reach out and we'll say, we're looking for new board members. Who wants to be a new board member? And then, or who wants to be a scholarship reader, who wants to read our scholarships before we give them out. So there's other ways you can get involved also that don't require you to be physically in the Bay Area as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mr. Cortez. I appreciate your answer.
Those were really wonderful questions, Kalina. Thank you. I do see that another question came in through the chat. So Jackie is asking for folks who did take gap years, what were some of the things that you did in the meantime? And so Carlos, do you want to go ahead and respond? I see you added, but if you want to elaborate on your answer.
Sure. Well, let's see. I had lived in San Jose and I moved back home. So that was able to save a lot of money taking that year off and moving back home with my parents to save money and just working hard full time and then applying to grad school that year. So that was kind of my situation, and it worked out great.
And Carlos, as far as the job that you were doing while you took that year off, was it something related to your major degree, or was it just at this point, I need to make some money to pay off that debt, so whatever I can land?
No, that's a good question. I wanted to get a job, something that was somewhat aligned with what I wanted to do. And I come from a small town, so there aren't too many opportunities in King City, Greenfield area. So I worked at a courthouse for a year and a half during that gap year prior to going to grad school.
Thank you. And I believe Gloria, or anybody else who'd like to answer that question, but I know Gloria, you mentioned having taken 7 years off. So curious to know what you did in that in-between time.
Yeah, so when I graduated San Jose State, my idea was going into business. I was going to open my own churreria because my parents have been selling churros for over 25 years. So I said, I took the last courses that I took were in entrepreneurship. And my goal was to work at a Latino-owned business so that I could learn from someone that I could relate to. And so I ended up finding a little boutique shop, a chocolate shop up in Berkeley called Casa de Chocolates. And I aggressively applied anytime anything popped up, right? Like I didn't care if it was going to be a dishwasher position. I wanted to work there because I wanted to know what it was, right? Like who better to learn from than someone that you can talk to and someone that you can relate to. And so I ended up working there a little bit under 2 years as I actually got hired as the store manager, por las cosas de la vida. One owner was exiting when I graduated San Jose State, so that opportunity opened up for me, and then I realized maybe I'm not ready to start my own business. Maybe I want to go back to school. I know I want to travel. So when I because I was commuting to Berkeley. I lived in San Jose. I was commuting to Berkeley, and that got to be a toll. So I actually quit my job there, traveled to Spain because I was still in I'm going to go research churrerias in Spain. and did that, and then came back and I was like, let's be realistic. I have like no seed money, no none of that to start a business right now. And so I applied for corporate dining, which I said, okay, well, I know the small business portion of it. Now, what is it to manage something that is a little bit bigger, that's a little bit more structured? And so I've been with Adobe for 5 years now in the catering department. And in between that time, I've had the chance to also travel. And so now that I kind of got all of that out of my system, I moved out on my own. I'm kind of making things happen for me, right? So this was the natural next step. I said, I still want to open my own business. And so I don't want to do that before I do grad school because I want to be able to fully dedicate. So yeah, you can do a lot of things.
Thank you, Gloria. I do see Daniel put here in the chat, traveling. Oh yeah, if you're able to, right? Because I think we deserve it after being in school for so long. Like, and I know right now that's hard to do, right? In COVID times, travel as they start to put these mandates on us. But definitely taking time for yourself. I think we all deserve it. And kind of doing some of that soul searching, doing some reflection, I think are some key points that I heard some folks say. Daniel, out of curiosity, where did you travel to?
Which time?
So, during your gap years, where were all the places you went to?
Jamaica, India, Colombia, Panama,
Wow.
Brazil, Chile, Peru, Mexico, Argentina, Cuba. Those are the ones that come to mind.
Well, if any of you are interested in traveling to any of those countries, you know who to go to. And that's why you probably have that list of different foods, right, that you're interested in.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like taking another gap year soon. I don't know about y'all, but this COVID got me feeling like I gotta get up and go.
We feel that. I'm like, snap, feel that for sure. Well, we're almost closing for time. I want to see if anybody has one more question to ask of our panelists while they're here. I am going to post their contact information. And Carlos, I believe you also had an opportunity to share, or I think it was going to be Gloria, the upcoming posada that's going to be happening in these next couple of weeks. But does anybody have one more question for our panelists?
It's not really a question, but I just want to say thank you for this. This was such an eye-opener. I am a first-generation student, and this was very helpful. And as someone who wants to take a couple of years off to explore like what I really want to do, get sufficient experience and travel abroad, just in general, or for volunteering before applying to my master's degree, it was really nice hearing everyone and their intake on this. So thank you a lot for this.
Well, we were so glad you were able to join us. Daniel, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna just make one more pitch as to why you should join this group. This group is gonna give you perspective. And I feel like a lot of us, when we graduate, we think we're gonna go into one industry and stay there for like the rest of our lives. And what I've learned now is to be like flexible, like flexibility of the will, and having all these different people to talk to, like what's been your journey? What did you learn? How did you shift from this industry? And also having people to listen to you, to be able to give you tips on how to negotiate. Yo, I got this problem at work with this coworker. What advice do you have for me? Having people to strategize with that have already gone through these trials and tribulations is super, super helpful. So yeah, check us out. Hit us up.
That was a good segue to the final words of wisdom from our board members. So thank you, Daniel. Carlos, anything to share?
No, kudos to all y'all. Graduate soon, and thank you for having us.
Gloria?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and share our posada just because I want to make sure that everybody sees our flyer here. It's on LinkedIn, it's on all social media, and again, aquí estamos para ayudar. I know the MSW got thrown out there a lot. 3 of my very, very good lifetime best friends are social workers, so I know that they would be eager to help everybody else because we're all first generation Latinas, right? So we have that perspective, and who else to help each other than the people that we can communicate with.
Thank you, Gloria. Ernesto, any last parting words?
You know what? Not too much. Everyone pretty much covered it. The only thing is just kind of remind people we do have a career center, so they can help with resumes, LinkedIn profiles, and also they're a good source to just help you on pretty much on your career side, if you would. But also we're here to also help out, like Gloria and Leo and Carlos mentioned, Daniel. We're just really here to help out. If you have any doubts, hey, what if I want to do this? Hit us up. We're more than willing to help out anyway.
Gracias, Ernesto. And last but not least, Leo, any last words of wisdom for our students here as they embark on post-San Jose State life?
I would double down on what Ernesto said. I think the Career Center is one of the most underutilized places at San Jose State by our own people. So I would encourage you, and if I could walk you to that place so you guys can actually take advantage of it. That's the place where every company posts their positions. That's where companies set up their info sessions, their tech talks. That's the place where all of the knowledge is in terms of like how to network. So I would definitely recommend that you guys hit up the Career Center and attend some of those virtual sessions that the companies are putting on right now, because that's where you're gonna learn the lingo depending which career you want to follow. So definitely encourage you to do that. And once again, our doors are open to all of you. We don't say this just to say it. Truly, every event that I participated in, most of the time, I always get on out of 100 people, I always get like only one person that reaches out afterwards. That means that people are not taking advantage of the open door policy that we have. So I would encourage you to be to not be the norm and reach out to us and connect with us LinkedIn and reach out to us over the next month so we can connect and have a virtual coffee chat.
Well, thank you so much, Leo, and the rest of the board members for joining us this evening. This was a very wonderful informational session, and I can't stress enough the follow-up, the importance of the follow-up. So everybody got access to the LinkedIn profiles. We will go ahead and actually email those out también so that after today's event, you still have access to that. And in regards to the Career Center, Centro does have one of our Career Center liaisons that offers office hours at Centro, of course, virtually now during these times. Sandra de Leon is our liaison to Centro from the Career Center. So definitely take advantage of those services, because a lot of these services, you have to pay for them after you graduate, right? And they charge a lot of money for them. So while you're a student, even though they say, oh, it's free of charge as a student, they already charge you via your registration fee. So you might as well take advantage of it while you can. So for those of you that are still with us through spring semester, definitely connect with Centro and with the Career Center to have your resume looked at. They do mock interviews, and then of course, Handshake. I see Jackie put Handshake on there. Definitely take advantage of the internship opportunities and the job postings. So muchas gracias to all of our board members. And thank you, students. Congratulations on this amazing milestone. Si se pudo. And definitely stay connected. Have a good evening, everyone.